Hello guys, welcome back. This is Maltanen, and today we're gonna take a look at the shutter streak effect as seen in Magic Bullet Looks. This is part 3 out of 4 of the tutorials that I have planned for you some time ago. As you can see, we've already covered linear focus, also known as tilt swing or tilt shift, and spot focus, which is known in the Magic Bullet Looks as edge softness filter. Both of those simulate depth of field, and this one is more kind of a classic film look effect that I really liked in Magic Bullet Looks. So let's just go ahead and create that. And I gotta tell you, this one is gonna be a little bit more complicated than the 2 previous ones. So let's just dive in. Here's our footage. Take a good look at it. We've got several shots in here. Basically the same shots. Oh, not really. Okay, whatever. So basically we're gonna create the shutter streak effect on them. So first of all, what is shutter streak? Let me just show you again. As you can see, it creates like the blurred version of the highlights that you can see in the image. But the main difference from just simply blurring it out is that they're actually inverted horizontally. If you take a close look, here's a little bit of highlight on this man's face, and here's the streak coming up. Here's the highlight and here's the streak. Here's the highlight and here's the streak. So we're just gonna learn how to do that using, as usual, as in previous tutorials, only the source layer. So in other words, you can just save it as a preset and just drag and drop it onto your layer whenever you need. So let's just go ahead and do that. First of all, we gotta isolate the highlights. So first of all, I'm gonna apply Equalized Filter, which basically evens everything out. As you can see, the darks are now darker, the highlights are brighter, and so on and so forth. You might actually not want to do that because here is where the streak should be and maybe here, but in this area we could probably live without it. But when Equalize is applied, this will probably pop up more. You can just, you know, if you've got it in your preset, it's just as easy to turn it on and off as just clicking on this switch here. So you're gonna decide whether or not you like it. I'm gonna put it in the preset, but not gonna enable it for this shot. And next thing is levels, so we can isolate the highlights. So let's just go ahead and do that. And we probably want to go at least halfway through, so like that. Okay, that's not bad. And how about the equalize? See, it's a little bit, it grabs a little bit more when equalize is applied. So I guess I'm gonna leave it turned off for this shot. Okay, so that's it. The next step is to invert this whole thing horizontally, vertically. So to do that without actually switching, you know, turning the layer upside down, we can apply the transform effect. Very handy little effect. Let's just go ahead, scale height, -100. Okay, that's it. So now we've got to blur it out. So directional blur. And let's just, oops, sorry. We probably want to leave the angle at 0. And now let's just blur it out like that. Okay, that's not bad. And let's just try CC Composite to finish the work. And change it to add and turn off RGB only. Okay, that's not bad, but it's not quite what I was expecting. Even though it looks kind of nice, as you can see in this area and so on. How does it look with Equalize? Okay, that's more intense. Quite filmic. But the funny thing is that we can do pretty much anything with this. We can now, because like in this area, we definitely see the fingers, right, in here. So we can probably apply some regular fast blur before CC Composite and just blur the whole thing out a little bit. That's better. We can also apply some tint to lose a little bit of color. And now use this slider to desaturate it. And also, as an additional effect in here, we can try and apply offset. Because what shadow streak, the way the shadow streak really looks like is that it comes from the edge and then fades out in this area. As you can see, we have the exact opposite, right? It's disappearing here. It should be exactly opposite. So we're just gonna apply the offset filter before directional blur. And we're just gonna try and move this to 0. So move it halfway through. And that didn't help. Okay, yeah, because we're gonna put it after the directional blur. But right now, okay, so I guess what we could do is, maybe let's just try the transform effect again. So we can scale the height, because it seems like the directional blur increased the height of our layer. So let's just try this. Uniform scale turned off and height. Okay, that's not bad. And maybe let's try the directional blur again. Or even better, fast blur to vertical, and now blur it out like that. Okay, that looks much better. Yeah, and CC composite. No, that looks nice. Okay, very cool. So, in case you just want to, you don't want to invert it and do all that stuff, you can just simply turn off the transforms and the last fast blur probably and just leave it like that. Also looks pretty nice, right? So see how many looks you can achieve just by simply turning those effects on and off. And you don't even need any parameters, because if you want to blur it out, you just blur it out in here. So that's kind of fun. So, okay, we can just turn those on and just go ahead, save it as a preset, and apply it to your footage whenever you need. Again, this was recreating the shutter streak effect as seen in Magic Bullet looks. So if you like Magic Bullet looks, if you like the look that you just achieved, I really recommend checking out the Magic Bullet looks, because it's got a lot of nice features in there. And you can get it at redgiant.com, of course. But if you want to help me out and support my efforts with, for providing tutorials and stuff, you can use the link provided on my site and buy it at Tool Farm, as you can see in here. So, in case you're not interested in Magic Bullet looks, you can also support me by buying one of my products. I have a few very cheap ones and a great training called Making It Look Great 5, which I made for MotionWorks and John Dickinson. You of course know him, so make sure to check that all out. Make sure to become a fan of maltanan.com on Facebook, and remember that you can follow me on Twitter as well. So once again, guys, this is Maltanan. Hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial. See you next time. Happy After Effecting.